Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I'm proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. Now I'm going to show you how I got to be the person of who which I am and stuff, right? So I've just turned 50 years old. So when I was like 19, 20 years old, so we're talking 30 years ago, okay? 30 years ago, and I'm living in LA, and at this time when I'm having these experiences, I'm hanging out with gangsters. I was hanging out with a cocaine dealer who freaking hung out in the projects all the time. Like, so it was a weird environment and shit too. It was crazy. Like the first time I tell the story, the first time that I did LSD with this guy, I almost got killed by a Mexican mafia guy. It's a crazy fucking story. So it's also was the environment of what was going on and the people I was hanging around with and stuff, right? And so it's like we all started doing acid at the same time because that's when the movie The Doors came out. And we all were smoking weed, but the movie The Doors keeps telling you, try acid, right? So then we try acid. The first time we tried acid, and we're just hanging out, whatever, okay? But then the second time we did acid, we watched the movie, because this is like, it's me and the cocaine dealer and my other friend. It was the three of us. And actually, so the first time we all did it. The second time, my one friend, he freaked out the first night and shit. So he didn't do it with us. So then the second time, it was just me and the cocaine dealer guy, and we watched the movie Pink Floyd, The Wall. Then after that, we watched the movie, and then like the next time we tripped on acid, because what happens the first couple hours when you're tripping on acid, you're fucked up. You're like fucked up. It's a heavy drug. You're all like disoriented, your vision is impaired, your like equilibrium's all fucked up and shit. You're high. You're really high for the first couple hours. But it's bearable, it's okay and shit, right? But it's not like you don't really want to be like driving a car or walking around in public. You got to be careful because you're fucked up. You're wasted and shit, right? So one of the things that we would do is the first couple hours, because that's what they call it when you're peaking and shit, right? So when you're first peaking, those first couple hours, we would watch some movie. We'd like to watch a movie and shit, right? And we would go to the movie theater. Sometimes we would go there, and then sometimes we'd watch movies in the house and stuff. We'd do different stuff like that. So like just all these adventures and shit. It's crazy shit, right? So this is what I'm saying. This is 30 years ago. So at this time when I'm having these adventures and I'm experimenting with mind-altering substances and shit, right? And so then it changed me. So now then I became something else. And so I've been that way for 30 years. I've been thinking this way and looking at things in a different light and stuff for over 30 years. And I didn't become a druggie, like I didn't become a wastoid, because there's people that do too many drugs and then they get wasted and they just become drug addicts. Okay, because there's a difference between somebody who's experimenting with drugs, and you can use drugs. Drugs are fine and stuff, and I always have to give a warning. Now, in today's society, there's that fentanyl out there, and that's an actual, like an assault. We're being attacked. We're actually being attacked, and the youth is being attacked, and they're actually being attacked, and they're killing the people. They're murdering these people with this fentanyl. So I have to give a strong, strong warning not to take drugs. It's like, this is the thing. You can't just go experiment with drugs, because the drugs that I would get back in the day, those were drugs. Those were good drugs. They were the people who produced them. They produced them because they wanted to make high quality product. They wanted to give you good drugs. You have a good experience and stuff. And then you come back for more. This is the whole thing. You get to have a good experience. They get to make their money. They get to return customers. Everything works out good for everybody. That's the way it was. But now, fentanyl's out there and shit, and they're just straight murdering people. You take a little pill, you think you're gonna just get a little muscle relaxer or something, relax. The next thing you know, you're fucking dead and shit, right? So I have to give such a strong warning to the people out there, to the youth. It's like, I'm telling you, drugs are good, but you have to be like 100 times more cautious than what I was back in the day of what drugs you're taking, because fentanyl's out there and that will just kill you. It fucking stops your heart. You stop breathing. That's it. You're dead and shit, right? And it's being done intentionally. It's being done to kill these people off, so that the people that would be like experimenting with drugs, they don't want them to get that mind-altering experience so that they could advance themselves. They want to kill a lot of those people off and shit, right? There's a massive attack. It's really bad and shit, right? So that's what I'm saying. I do endorse drug use and stuff, right? But I have to overemphasize, I want to overemphasize that fentanyl is out there now. And you better fucking be careful, it'll kill you. They're out there, they're trying to kill you, right? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to tell people to take drugs. Right now, you got to be super careful. So it's a tricky fucking balance and shit, right? So the first time we did it, we hung out, and the second time, like I said, we watched the movie Pink Floyd The Wall, right? So this right here, this is a clip from Pink Floyd The Wall. This is when the movie, right in the beginning, when it gets crazy. It's all nice and calm, and this is like what LSD is. It's like, this is like the perfect thing. I remember watching this. I remember on LSD, and this scene, this exact scene right here happened, and when you see like the dove go up in the air, and then it transforms, and all of a sudden it starts showing the animation, and things start getting crazy. I remember when that happened. I remember I was laying on the floor watching the TV, and then all of a sudden the animation came up, and it was like visually like, whoa, what the fuck? And I remember I literally, I got up and I went back and sat back on the couch and shit, because I was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? And shit, right? So this scene right here, this is like what LSD is. That's why this movie is so good, because it's like, you don't have to take LSD. You can kind of watch this movie, and this movie, if you're smart enough to actually understand what's actually taking place here, it's like being on the drug and shit, right? So this scene here is a perfect one, because here they are in the little garden. Everything's just nice. There's a woman over here relaxing, and then there's the baby carriage over in the back, and then they show the white dove, and it goes flying. Everything's beautiful, and then it just, boom, it fucking unleashes on you, and it turns into this other world. That's what LSD is like. You're living your life, everything's just normal and shit, and then all of a sudden you start tripping on LSD, and it's like, holy shit, what the fuck's going on here? What world am I in now and shit, right? It's a totally different world. And this is what I'm trying to tell the people in the Michael Jackson community, that I had these experiences 30 fucking years ago, and this changed me and got me to see things and think differently. I'm going to show you some clips here from this Pink Floyd The Wall. And then, like I said, The Doors was the movie that got us to try acid. So then we watched the movie The Doors, and it was crazy. So I'm going to show you some clip from The Doors. And then The Doors was made by Oliver Stone. So then we started getting into Oliver Stone movies, and the movie JFK came out. So I'm going to show you a little clip from a JFK, and then I'm going to show you a thing with the Diana Ross and the Michael Jackson on the Merv Griffin show, one that I show a lot. And I'm going to explain to you what was actually taking place there, and why people are not aware of what's going on, and how that they were able to expose the truth of their story right to the public, but nobody understood it and stuff. And that's the thing about the public. They're dumbed down, the dumbed down society of what they are and shit, right? So this is from Pink Floyd. This is a song called Goodbye Blue Sky, from Pink Floyd from The Wall and stuff, right? So imagine being on LSD watching this shit, and you've never seen any movies, you never tripped, like you never seen no shit like this, and all of a sudden, that's what I'm saying, this perfectly is what like LSD is like. waste, right? Blood running down the drain. What a waste of human existence, society, being ruled by the elites, forcing us to do things that we don't want to do against our fucking natural order of mankind. And so this movie, the Pink Floyd The Wall movie, just, it's like, what happens is when I seen this movie, I had an understanding of like the wisdom that actually existed out there, of how good this shit actually was. The music and the lyrics and the visual interpretation with all the animation and what they did in the movie, like it took me to a whole nother level of understanding and the appreciation for this stuff, and to see that the people that were out there that are doing stuff like this, and it just made me respect like high quality human existence, these people that live in the world that are really smart, you know, that are out there putting the message out of what's going on in the world and stuff, right? This is like what human existence is about, the interpretation of like life, the real life situations of what life is, and there's these people that are really smart, you know. So after I seen this, then I had this massive respect for like really smart people and really artistic people, and people that are fighting. There's like, these are like soldiers who were actually fighting for like the battle of the souls against Satan and for God and Satan and stuff, and they're out here fighting to free the humankind, and they're fighting against Satan, trying to fight for God, trying to free people and give them the knowledge and stuff of what they need to stand up against Satan and all the fucking evildoers that are in society and shit, right? So that's what I'm saying. The Pink Floyd The Wall, and like I said, when I watched this stuff on LSD and stuff, on acid, it just completely changed my life. I went to a whole nother level of thinking and understanding. I was different. There was just no doubt about it. And like I'm saying, this is 30 fucking years ago. 30 years ago that I had these experiences, and so I've been this way for 30 years, and so I've been looking at stuff, and when I see stuff, I see it differently. If you've never like broken free and like actually woken up, it's like people, they think because they've seen the movie like The Matrix and they get something, I don't know, like it's hard for me to relate to like the simpleton mind of the people now when they think that they're woke and whatever, and it's like, unless you have like understandings like this and have had experiences, you're not woke. You haven't seen shit. If you don't have the real respect for how smart actual people actually are, if you don't have respect for the battle that's taking place between God and Satan and shit, and have respect for how long this has been going on for and shit, right? If you don't have respect for those things, then what are you? You don't know anything. And you're out here, you know, fucking talking all this shit and thinking that you're smart and all this shit. And it's like, dude, you know, like the song says, have you seen the frightened ones, you know? Have you seen the frightened ones? And that's what I see when I see all these people. I just see a bunch of frightened little babies, you know, who are not willing to stand up and deal with the reality of what's taking place, because like the mental abilities and what it takes for you to actually absorb that and deal with it, it's serious. You have to deal with things on a reality thing, like, whoa, like, what am I here? You know, what's actually taking place here? Like, have I been victimized? Am I under their control? You have to deal with all of those things, and the people just don't want to fucking deal with it and shit. They don't want to deal with it. So that's that. So let me show you here. Now, this is from the movie The Doors. This is a part. There's so many parts from this movie I could show you, but this one I like to show you because they mention the word acid, and then Pam's talking about her first acid trip. And listen to like the words of what she's saying. And so right here, she's reading some of Jim's poetry, because Jim Morrison was a legitimate like all-time great poet, you know. And he read a lot of books and shit, right? So it's one of these things that I didn't grow up reading books and shit, but Jim Morrison grew up reading books and studying like real history. This is the thing, is like when I was in school and they would teach me about history, it's like, boy, I was bored. It wasn't entertaining and shit. And so I never really got into like reading and stuff. And so nobody ever like guided me in the right direction to get me interested in something to, you know, nobody did that. And so then I just played sports and did what I wanted to do. You know, I had no guidance and shit, right? until I got up to this point where, like I said, when I tried LSD and then I got exposed to this stuff, and then I started like guiding myself and stuff, and I had appreciation for this stuff. So this scene is just this is an interesting scene here. Let's watch this.
Now I have come again to the land of the fair and strong and the wise. Brothers and sisters o'er the pale forest, O children of night, who among you will run with a hunt? Now night arrives with her purple legion. Retire now to your tents and dreams. Tomorrow we enter the town of my birth. I want to be ready. It's beautiful.
Like that?
It's beautiful. I've never read much poetry before. What's a shaman?
He's a medicine man. The Indians, he gets into a peyote trance, and he gets deeper and deeper, and then he has a vision, and the whole tribe is healed. All cultures have a version of it. The Greeks have theater and gods. The Indians say the first shaman invented sex. They call him the one who makes you crazy. What turns you on?
I don't know. Experience. Freedom. Love. Now. Did you know that the first time I did acid, I saw God. And I saw a friend of mine who was Christ, but he was Judas too. You know, and then I realized that somehow that was the secret of everything. We're all one. The universe is one. And that everything is beautiful.
So it's like, you know, see, like when Morrison, he's talking about the Indian, you know, the shaman, and he gets into this peyote trance, and he has a vision, and the whole tribe's healed. Okay, so peyote, it's a drug. That's what I'm saying. People talk about, like, they think drugs, oh, drugs and stuff. It's like, dude, drugs is like one of the great gifts to humankind is like drugs. To be able to have these experiences, and they're experiences with being connected to God. Like she says, the first time I did acid, I saw God, you know, and then I saw my friend was Judas and he was Christ, and somehow I realized that that was the secret of all, that we're all one, everything's one, we're all connected, you know, and everything's beautiful. And that's what I'm saying is, like, when you start seeing stuff like that, when you have an understanding of this larger thing that's taking place in your connection to it. Okay, so as I'm saying, these were the experiences I was having, and I was getting this information and shit, right? And so I started thinking differently. And like I said, I've been doing this for 30 years. That's why when it came for the time for me to see that Michael Jackson was the son of Diana Ross, when I saw it, I had the vision, and I had the vision of them morphing into each other, and I was able to ask the question, and then I did the investigation, because I knew how to ask proper questions. I knew what to look for, like what was actual evidence, what was real facts and shit, right? So I started doing my own research and stuff. So let me show you one more here. This is from the movie JFK, because I want you just to hear like how they talk and stuff, right? And things that are taking place, because this is like JFK. This is the thing that happened in our world, society and shit, right? So your life, whether you know it or not, your life has been affected by the murder of JFK. There's just no doubt about it. Every person here in America, but I'm sure much more around the world too, but definitely in America. If you're an American, your life was affected by the assassination of John F. Kennedy, which took place far before I was even born and shit, right? But my life was affected by it. And that's how you understand the larger picture of what's taking place and these powers that are in control and shit, right? So let's watch this.
If I answer that question you keep asking, if I give you the name of the big enchilada, you know, then it's Bon Voyage Dino. I mean like permanent. I mean like a bullet in my head, you dig? Does that help you see my problem a little better?
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a flash of light in the bushes, and then shots rang out.
Oh, cloak and dagger stuff, you know. They called it Operation Mongoose.
It's gonna be okay, Dave. You just talk to us on the record and we'll protect you. Now, I guarantee it.
You're so naive.
He found us in your office.
We think the conference room is also about ready to pause.
I'm not cooperating here. I'm not cooperating here. Listen, there's a death warrant for me.
I think you're gonna kill us, Pop.
Nobody's gonna kill us. Y'all gotta get into your minds how the hell the spooks think. Now, they're not ordinary crooks. Think the unthinkable. Question everything. Now, we're through the looking glass here, people. White is black, and black is white. You don't believe me? All this time, you never believed me.
I just want to raise our children and live a normal life. I want my life back.
This thing's bigger than all of us.
Now, how many cooks is it gonna take for you lawyers to figure out what you want? People got to know. People got to know why he was killed.
You know what you got to me? I'm a dead there.
Well, if they can kill the president, they can certainly get me.
You're a mouse fighting a gorilla.
You're close. You're closer than you think.
There's going to be an attempt to kill you somewhere between here and New Orleans.
I say let justice be done, though the heavens fall.
Okay, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to actually show you this one part that I want to highlight here. Okay, now when he says the spooks, he's talking about the CIA. You know, we got to think like the spooks do, you know? And that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the CIA. You got to learn to think like they do. If you want to understand what's taking place in the world and stuff, you got to understand their mindset, how they actually think and stuff. So, right? So this is like the kind of words of what I'm telling you when he's like telling you got to question everything. So like this movie, this is the stuff that I was introduced to right at that time of where I was having my experiences with LSD and shit, right? And it got me to constantly be looking at things in a different way, thinking on a higher level and shit, right? So that's the way I see it. And specifically, like, these words affected me and shit, right? So let's listen to this again.
Y'all gotta get into your minds how the hell the spooks think. Now, they're not ordinary crooks. Think the unthinkable. Question everything. Now, we're through the looking glass here, people. White is black, and black is white.
You know, that's, so you got to question everything. I'm going to play it again one more time just so you can hear it. But it's just like, it's so important and stuff, what he's talking about, you know? It's like, that's how it is. You got to question everything. It's like all these people that's like, no, that can't be. And it's like, dude, you're in denial. That's like the most basic, simple, like, thing for a human being is just to instantly deny stuff and not deal with anything. You can't deal with my Michael Jackson story because you're in total denial. It's like, okay, if you can show me that you've thought about my story, then you would be able to show me where I'm wrong. But these people, the stuff of what they come up against me with, it is complete denial. They're in complete denial. They're not even thinking. Their brains don't work. They're not freaking open-minded. They're not intellectuals. They're not good people. They're just slaves. They're just slaves. They're stupid little children. Have you seen the frightened ones? They're all frightened. They're scared to deal with reality. They just like the one part where I just want to live my life. You know, I just want to raise my children and give a good life. That's his wife in the movie, in the Sissy Spacek character. You know, I just want to live my good life. That's what everybody is. They don't want to deal with this stuff. They just want to go live their life, but you can't live your life. There is no good life to be had when you've got these criminals and these crooks, these murderers running everything.
Y'all gotta get into your minds how the hell the spooks think. Now, they're not ordinary crooks. Think the unthinkable. Question everything. Now, we're through the looking glass here, people. White is black, and black is white.
Think the unthinkable. Question everything. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I had these experiences, this 30 years ago. And the people, it's like, you people can't even comprehend the reality of, like, being in the mindset of what I've been for 30 fucking years. 30 years I've been thinking like this. You have no idea of my understanding of what I've seen and what I've experienced in the world and what fucking my brain contains and shit, right? That's why I tell people, it wasn't a coincidence that it was me who made the discovery about Michael Jackson, because I've been a certain way for a long period of time. And now I constantly am showing this clip, but it's one of the things is that somebody thinks that they can watch it one time and they'll have an understanding of it. And that's not the way the world works. There's a lot, because you're talking about Diana Ross, the person, and her existence of life. And when she's doing stuff like this, she's not just saying one little thing. What this stuff means is she has a much big understanding of the world and her experience and stuff. And she packages into a little word and a little phrase here. But you've got to think like on a higher level and have an understanding of what's actually taking place. So what's actually taking place here is Diana is showing Michael Jackson that the public is completely naive. And she's showing Michael Jackson, that's what I think that what's happened when she says, this is my child, and what she says here, the words, what she's saying here, I think what she's doing here is she's showing Michael, look at, the world will not, we can't tell the world that you're my child, like really and stuff, right? Because the public will have a hard time dealing with that, right? And so what she wanted to show Michael is how naive the public is and how they don't understand anything. And so she came out and she literally tells on this show, she tells, like, well, Michael's right there watching. She literally tells, there's my child. She says, well, he is like a son. And she says, like a son or a brother. But she says, well, he is like a son. And then after that, then she says, they make me work hard because basically I'm doing everything for him. She literally just fully confesses right here, like on a serious level. The words of what she's saying here and what she's doing, she just fully confesses and she fully tells Michael's her kid. She tells you. She just full on tells you. And I think that the reason that she did this is she wanted Michael to experience this so Michael could have an understanding of the public, the people that are the fans. And so what this also means is that Diana Ross is training Michael Jackson not to have respect for the fans. That's what this is about. She's telling Michael, the work of what we do is our connection to God. We don't care about the fans. They're not important. The only thing of what they do is give us money. They're only important because they give us money and shit. But besides that, they're useless. They're idiots. They don't respect us. That's what she's really showing Michael here. She's saying they don't respect us. They don't understand us. Those people are not like chosen by God to have this gift that we've got. That's what she's actually doing. This is what I'm saying is like, I explain this stuff. People are not capable of actually having an understanding of what's taking place here. And I don't need Diana Ross to tell me like directly. I don't need her to tell me that she's doing it because I understand what's actually going on. I can think like she thinks. I have an understanding, a bigger understanding of the way the world works. And so I know that when she's saying these words to Michael Jackson and a live performance, and Michael Jackson's right there at the age, this is 1970 on the Merv Griffin show. This is right after the Jacksons have moved to LA. Right when I say that's that time where she's building this relationship with Michael, she's trying to show him what's actually how the world actually works because she's trying to cover up for her mistake of abandoning Michael. She's having to show Michael, well, there's a larger picture at play here. There's a larger understanding of what's going on, and God works in mysterious ways, and we can't always understand that, but we have to understand that we are like instruments of God. That's what she's telling Michael. This is what this is about, this training that she's training Michael, that we're instruments of God and we've got a special gift, and the public is stupid and naive and they don't get it. They're not important. They're the fans. They're the idiot fucking fans. And she says right here, this is what she does to Michael. She says, watch, I'll show you how stupid the fans are. I'm going to tell them that you're my kid on the show. I'm going to tell them you're my kid. I'm going to tell them everything, and nothing will happen. And that's what she did right here. So here, let's listen to this.
I love him. We have one of them in the audience here with us.
Where?
We have Michael Jackson somewhere out there. Is he out there? Where is he? There he is. That's my child.
Hey.
That's Michael.
Don't you know anybody? You get a better seat?
He's being incognito.
Oh.
You know, they've made me work hard because I want to be something. I mean, I am. Michael has always been like a son or a brother or something to me, and they admire me sort of like, so I try very hard to keep up such an image for them. And when I do a show like this, they usually sneak Michael in. I really didn't know he was going to be here. I heard about it, and I was hoping that he was here because it makes me a little bit stronger because I'm doing it basically for him.
You're currently...
See, so she throws you off. Like, this is, she tells you the truth, but then she throws you off with a little bit of deceptive tactics and a little bit of a lie, saying, oh, I didn't really know Michael was going to be here. They just snuck him in. That's the lie. And so then it confuses the public, because with the lie and the truth, when you combine them, it creates a confusion in the public, and the public's mind is not able to deal with what they're hearing. They have no understanding. Plus, it's taking place quick. It happens fast, and the people just can't absorb it, and they can't understand what they just heard and stuff, right? So this is the thing of where Diana just showed Michael, look it, I'm going to tell him, there's my child. And she says, well, Michael has been, well, he is like a son to me. And this is 1970. The Jacksons have just come to Motown, but she's speaking about Michael Jackson with this connection to him like it's been for a much longer period of time. There's some much bigger connection that is taking place with Diana, because you can hear it in her words here. This is not a woman who's just met this kid and then the relationship of what they've built together. This is not that relationship. This is something else. The way she's speaking, the way she's interacting with him, is something else is going on. And it's my story that actually explains it, which is what she is actually explaining to you right there. There's my child. How is she referring to him? That's my child. Well, he's kind of like, well, he is like a son to me. She has just met this child. How has she built that kind of relationship with him? And why have the Jacksons allowed her to build that kind of relationship with Michael? Why would they allow that to happen? If the Jacksons are the Jacksons and she's just Diana Ross, why would they be allowing this to occur? Because they can't stop it, because Diana is Michael Jackson's actual mother, and she has control over the Jacksons, of which the Jacksons don't have any control over. They have no say-so in the matter, because if it came down to it, Diana would expose this all to the public, because she's Diana Ross now. She's already rich. Motown is already super rich. By 1970, Motown's established. Berry Gordy's rich. Smokey Robinson's rich. Diana Ross is rich. They're all rich and powerful. And if she has to come out and expose the truth at this time, if she has to do that to get control over Michael Jackson, if that's what she had to do, then this kind of thing shows you that she was willing to do that. She had to show the Jacksons that she was willing to do it, and they had to allow her to build this relationship with her son, Michael, and that they had no say-so in the matter. And if they wanted to step up, then she was willing to fight them. That's what she's doing here. This is the levels of what she's showing here, and what she's expressing is far up beyond this just simple little conversation. There is so much more of a deeper understanding of what's actually taking place here. And like I said, the reason I can see what she's actually what's going on here, and I can have an understanding of it, because I've been thinking this way for 30 years. I've been thinking about stuff on a different level. Like I just showed you in those movie clips, I can show you exactly the clips. I can show you exactly what they're saying, to show you the mentality that I've had for a long period of time. That's why I'm able to hear this stuff in a different way. That's why it was me that broke this story, that was able to deal with the reality that this had happened and shit. It's not coincidence. This stuff has happened. This is real. And like I keep saying to people, all you got to do is be a Michael Jackson fan. If you're actually a Michael Jackson fan, then you cannot deny the work of what I'm doing. You can't deny it, because my work is real. And if you're a fan, then you care about Michael Jackson as a person, not just the fucking king of pop, the glitz and glamour, because that's what I have found out, is that all the fans here, they don't care about Michael Jackson the human. They care about the fake stuff, the stuff that you read in the magazines, the fake stuff, the fake image of what Michael Jackson had to put on for the public to deceive them so he could get their money. But what he was doing, the reason he was doing all that fake shit and being the way he was, is because it allowed him to have the connection to God, to be the voice and the instrument of being the connection to God, for him to create the artists, because that's what they think they are. They think they're instruments of God, these artists and shit, right? So that's like what's actually taking place. That's how all the relationships take place between Michael and the entertainment world and the Michael and the fans and shit, right? There's just so much shit going on there. There's a much, much bigger understanding. And what this does is, like, say, if you're a fan of Michael Jackson, you should help me and care about exposing this true story. But not only if you're not a fan of Michael Jackson, if you're a fan of God, if you care about the truth and exposing people to the truth of the world and giving them the strength so they can think on a higher level, so that they can question things, so that they won't be fooled by the freaking evildoers who are ruining the fucking country and the world right now. They're just murdering people at will. They do whatever they want because nobody stands up and questions them. And nobody, it's like, if you just constantly are calling out bullshit, if when they say the stuff, if you just yell at them, bullshit, we don't believe you, you're lying. If they just constantly, if that's what they were having to deal with, and that's why they've dumbed us down, because they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to have to try and overcome society being smart. That's why they've dumbed down society. They've like this. There's on the zombie fight. They've got your brains under control. They've got your soul under control. They've got your body under control. You're not putting up any fight. Satan's got you. That's what's going on in the world. And it's like, come on, it's like, I'm not just talking about fighting for Michael Jackson. We're talking about fighting for the souls fucking of God's children on the whole and fucking entire planet. We want to give people the fucking strength to fucking stand up and fucking fight. But people just want to just laugh at me and fucking put me down and call me crazy and shit because they're not willing to stand up, because they don't have the ability to think, that they have no connection to God. And it's clearly, you can see what I'm talking about when you understand this experience I've had with the Michael Jackson community.